situation of exoticide and filicide. 61% of the children between 1 and 4 years old that are murdered are by their parents, by one of their parents. In many situations, the parent also kills themselves. The institution of marriage is one of the most important institutions in the life of mankind, in the life of humankind, of us as a species. Why? We're here to procreate and to give offspring in order to carry on our lineage, to carry on our legacy, to carry on everything, because we know that we're only here for a period of time. And so we give birth to and raise our replacements. We can teach them so that they'll be better than us. We can teach them from the mistakes that we've made. We can teach them from different qualities or different routines that we see, that's family routines or family habits, so that they'll be better in their next generation. When you marry, that's what makes all of that lawful and blessed. So a person who marries in any institution, if you're a Christian, Jew, Muslim, if you're married, it's considered to be the lawful bonds of marriage. Okay, and in it you get extra blessing. In it comes, we say that there's a certain provisions that's connected to marriage. When you get married, you might be married and you're poor, and then all of a sudden provisions start to come from different places. And connected to every lawful child, the legitimate child, is also provision. So you'll get, and it happened to me. I was 18 when I got married. I'm working literally 2.5 jobs in order to just survive, and my wife is working also. And then literally 1 month before my first child, 2 months before my first child was born, this job comes all of a sudden with all of the perks, the benefits. Then we ended up delivering a child off of that money, off of those benefits, and everything just smoothed out, because connected to every legitimate relationship between a husband and wife, there's blessing and provision. Connected to every child that comes from that, there's blessing and provision. Now, did you think because you took that step that everything is just going to be honky-dory now? Any step you take towards good, naturally, the devil is going to take extra steps to stop that good. If you have a cup, all right, we have a jar, okay? Take the idea of this. Every time that you take a step towards doing something right, and one of the worst or one of the best steps you can ever take is getting married, you have a jar and you can start to pour benefit into this jar. The devil, what do you think? He's going to leave you and say, oh, his jar is up now. Let's just move to the next one whose jar is like this or whose jar is like this. No, they see jars up, get the jars that's up. They're going to get the jar, the glass, and their whole goal is not to just knock it back down, okay, to make you unstable again. Their idea is to take it and turn it around upside down, so nothing, because like this, something can come in and go out, come in and go out. Upside down, so nothing can come in of benefit, nothing is retained, and that's when they feel like they've done their goal, and then they make sure they do something so it stays that way. Understand that's what your enemy, that's what he sets out for anytime you try to do anything good. It's not to just stop it to say, put something over so nothing more go in. No, it's not to just, no, knock it back down so stuff go in and out. No, that's a jar standing up. The goal is to get that and turn it upside down so nothing comes in, nothing goes out of benefit, nothing is retained, and then to keep it that way. Marriage is the most important institution in your life, possibly, because from it, everything that you've learned in life, you've been like this, learning lessons. When you have the institute of marriage, now all of that you're able to give to someone else who can have a bigger or larger jar and can fill it up more and more. And then a larger with the offspring, fill it up more and more. And so this is your vessel of benefit, of success, of legacy. So when you take this step, do you think that the devil is just going to leave you alone? That's when you have to have your guards up more. Most people come and say, okay, I've done it. I've married. Okay, now everything's going to be hunky-dory because I've legitimized, which is what you're supposed to do. Legitimize our relationship between myself and my wife. And so everything's blessed. Yes, it's blessed. But that's why the attacks are going to come. And they start out as little things. The first little time, the way that it works, in the beginning, everything's going to be beautiful. And then real tests going to come with life. Okay, the first child is coming, making sure we have what we need for the child. Okay, rearing a child. Allah forbid, God forbid, you have a situation where the child has birth defects or anything like that, trying to deal with that. Dealing with costs or expenses going up with every child. But if you're doing the right thing, you'll see the blessings come. As this happens, this comes. This happens, is a little difficult, and then afterward the ease comes. But if you're not conscious of it, With every difficulty, you start to say, I don't know why I got married anyway. I don't like this woman. And the worst thing can be after you have children with this woman, a child or children with this woman, and you just starting to feel all this disdain or whatever being whispered in you towards the woman, towards the children, towards everything that it represents. And it turns into this situation of exoticide and filicide. 61% of the children between 1 and 4 years old that are murdered are by their parents, by one of their parents. Many situations, the parent also kills themselves. So it's a terrible, terrible, evil cycle, but it starts from not being aware that with every step that you take a step, evil is going to be there to try to take it away. Imagine your own wife that has taken a contract with you. They've taken a contract with you that's such a strong, serious contract that from it, love and mercy is but between you guys. And from two bloodlines that were not connected comes a bloodline that's a legitimate bloodline. From these two people, a bloodline is a legitimate bloodline and all the blessings that come with it. So the first thing is to recognize the bond of marriage is this very serious blessing, and with it is going to come its challenges. You have to get through all of that, and that's what makes a marriage so amazing, because you and this person, you guys come into a bind, and they say to death do you part. That's the idea. But even if it doesn't work that way, you always have this bond so that even if you have to separate, people separate out of anger, whatever, that's the mother of your children. That's the father of your children. You always want good for them because you want good for your children. And the best thing for your children is for them to have both parents somewhere around for them to be able to have some type of relationship with. Talk to someone with experience. Talk to someone, a professional counselor, but talk to also people who've been married for 30, 40 years. You have to find people like that. In every community, you have people like that and ask them, what did you do? Some people will tell you the most important thing is to just come home every day. You come home every day, everything will work its way out. Some people will tell you with everything, it's like a mountain. You have ups and downs. You have to get through the downs in order to go up. And when you go up, understand that there's going to be another down, but that's the way of life. That's the way of life, whether you're in or outside of marriage. So you want to do it outside of marriage and not have anyone to go back to or go home to? Or do you want to do it inside of marriage where you're building something and having offspring and setting a legacy in place? So the whole point is, if you have these feelings of hatred towards your wife, know where it's coming from. And if you have these feelings of hatred, because usually the children had nothing to do with it. The children usually are just there and they represent family that's connected to this wife that you want to be done with. Talk to someone, get some counseling before talk to someone, get some counseling before it spirals out of control and you're in a bad situation.